Hi, and welcome. In today's episode of our birthday card series, we will be making cards for kids. So stick around to see what we make. Okay, so here in front of me, we have a bunch of fun kid-themed cards, a lot of critters, which is where my mind goes when I think of kids' cards. And I also grabbed some samples of cards I've already made. So this one I made on a previous video. It's a shaped card. You could put a gift card in there for a boba tea place or a donut or coffee or ice cream place, and that would be fun. And then here I've got some Doodlebug cards from the Berry Sweet collection, and you can make them more masculine or feminine depending on the person you're creating them for. And these were just really simply used with some of the pattern paper and then some of the die cuts that are an add-on in the collection. And because they're to do with strawberries, they're not necessarily male or female. So these are a little more pinky and girly, but you could definitely choose images that are a bit more masculine if you're making more boy cards. And for today's video, we are going to be looking at using some coloring critters and some die cut critters. But if you don't have anything like this, you could easily raid your stash for some stickers. So here I have some more stickers with all these little fun guys and small images. We could, even vehicles in that, and you could easily use stickers for this same idea. Okay, and I thought we would make a shaker card. We're gonna make a really simple one that anybody can make with very basic supplies. So the first thing we're going to do for our shaker card is make a frame, and you can do that by taping together two nesting dies that have a bit of space in between. So it's not the two closest to each other, but there's about a centimeter in between each of these. And if you do not have nesting dies, you can just cut out of your paper a rectangle, and you can use a sliding paper trimmer, or you can use a craft knife and a ruler and just cut out that rectangle. So there, as long as you have some basic supplies, you can make one of these. So once you cut your frame, so I've done two. This one is a piece of foam, glitter foam, and this one is just flat glitter paper that I picked up from the dollar store. And I wanted to have a bit of shine in the front of my card, but you can just use flat, non-sparkly paper if you prefer. And you also need your card base. So I have this for my blue card base, and then I've been trying to use up some of my cardstock, my colored cardstock for card bases. There's been, I have some really great heavy cardstock, and they would make nice card bases, so I've been trying to use some of that up. So I thought this might be good for one of my cards. And so this one, I think I might use the blue. We'll see. I might change my mind. All right, so once you've done that, you're going to be working on what's behind the space. So you can do a lot of different things. You can use pattern paper, which is usually my favorite go-to. So I have this Great Outdoors collection, and these things happen to coordinate, but you don't have to do that. Like this collection even has plain ones, like just an orange plaid. So if I wanted to, on here, I can put just an orange plaid behind that with some cute critters on top, right? And that's actually a pretty masculine card because of the colorway. Or this, right? Just some yellow polka dots or some leaves. And this has like a really nice teal in it. So actually, now that I'm looking at that, that might be what I do. Okay, and then you're going to cut so it fits behind this piece. So you don't want it poking out on the side. So I really like how this one looks with my darker teal cardstock. This one would also be cute to make Yeah, that one would be cute too. Let's see. And then I have this one I pulled as well. It's like a little camping scene. Oh, well, you can see that. And the back is just like a wood grain, so that would work. Okay, so we'll decide on one of those. And on this one, I think is going to be the one where I put the little Spellbinders critter on. And I could use also one of these pieces of paper, or I can just leave it as is. And I can make a really clean and simple card with this. Also, another option is to use a piece of something to make like a focal point. So I wouldn't necessarily do it white on white, but you could do it in, say, a black or another color, and just use something else to make a focal point. But I think I like the idea of doing some pattern paper in the back. I always find that the easiest. And so I'm just going to measure what size of paper I'm going to need. So let's see. So this is it's probably 4 by 5 1/4. Yeah, 4 by 5 1/4. So if I did my paper, so it was just under that. So if we did it at, let's see, if this is 4, I would do like 3 7/8 by 5 3/8. So it's just under, and it'll fit under our frame. So I'm going to cut these 2 pieces, I think. And that way I will have 2 choices. And then I have both sides. So if I don't like one for whatever reason, I can use the other. This one looks like it has already been cut into. So I'll have to trim off that side. So I cut that down to 5 1/8. 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So that's better. And I like that blue. It kind of pops with this blue. So I might do that. That's kind of cool. And then I need to make my little critter, but he's blue. So maybe I might use the little critter on this one. And for this little camping scene, this still has, it might be hard to see, but there's a bit of teal in there. So I can use that with a teal card still. And then I can use either my stamps. So I've already cut out some of these guys. And with shakers, you can put the images underneath as long as they're flat, or you can stick them on top. And I have a little tree that I created. So I can make a little scene with these that I would need to color those first. So I think I'm going to put these aside to color and put this guy together. So I am just, so I have 2. And I think that's his legs. And this makes the legs dance, but I am not even doing that with this card. Although for a kid's card, they would love that, right? But I'm just going to keep it kind of simple and piece them all together. And I just picked, these were just blues from my scrap bin. And you can pick, they can all be the same color, and you just ink blend to make them different shades if you wanted, or use different colors. It could be like a rainbow little guy. I don't think it matters too much. All right, so I'm gonna put these together. Okay, so that's one little guy. I kind of mucked up his eye a little, but I think I fixed it okay, and it doesn't look too bad. And then I have this little crown, and I can color it to match maybe the card, or I can leave it white. Right, and the nice thing about making these little alien critters is like they're not based on anything that's real, so you can kind of make them however you want. So now I can just put this really easily together with some fill on the back. So I'm just going to put these pieces away with this on. And you could, another option is you could take the scraps, and then maybe what I'll do is make like a landing place for this guy to stand on. So I can just, and I can put it underneath, but it's still flat enough that I don't think it'll affect my shaker bits. So I think that's what I'll do for him. All right, I'm gonna just glue this on. You could even use a die or a pair of scissors to give it like a bit of a hill shape, but I'm not gonna do that. And I think I'm actually gonna attach this to the front of the card. So you can do it this way, or you can build the whole thing on the back of this and then attach that whole thing onto the card. So there's a couple options. So I'm going to put this aside because that's kind of that part of the base done. And then I'm going to work on this one. So I've got this Yeti, the moose, a rabbit, a tree, like all this stuff is super cute. So I think I'm going to try to use some of the colors in the picture, and then we'll have like just a little scene. Maybe I'll do something like that with the rabbit. And then these guys down here. I think that's cute. Or I could even do it all along the bottom, one level. I kind of like that these guys are up here. Okay, and then I can also add a sentiment to these. So I will do that in a second as well. So I'm trying to think, do I want to put the sentiment? Maybe I'll put it up top. Or I can do it like this and then a sentiment here. That might be good. Yeah, so let's color these guys up first. So I did a very quick coloring of these guys. Didn't even do full coloring on some of them. So you don't have to do the full thing. And then I am just going to use them to decorate the outside of my shaker. Okay. All right, so let's do sentiments next. So I have 2 sets. This one was the coordinating stamp set for this collection. You can do it as simple as happy birthday. You could do happy birthday little monster, or sending monstrous, I think it's birthday wishes. Sending monstrous birthday wishes would be kind of cute. So any of those, so there's those options. And then these ones have May the Forest Be With You, which I love that one. I Believe in You would be so cute with the Yeti. Just for You, We Moost Celebrate would be really cute. So I think I might do the We Moost Celebrate for the one with the moose. Okay, and I can put this on like a little banner strip. And then for these, and then I can just put happy birthday on the inside. So maybe that's, I'll even just use this one. Because why not? It's here. But if you had like a fancier one or a bigger one you wanted to use, you could do that. And then for this one, I would say, I think I like that Sending Monstrous Birthday Wishes. Oh, I could do that. Sending Monstrous, I could do that. And then having it down here, Sending Monstrous Birthday Wishes. And I think that's what I'm going to do there. All right, so I'm just going to do those. There. Okay. And I will let that dry. All right, I'm cutting this down to the same size as the pattern paper here, because that's, or even a tiny bit over, so 4. So I need it to be behind that paper, that frame. So yeah, just under 4, so 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So that's, I know it's hard to see, but that's the acetate. Okay, then I can just attach that, and you can use glue to do that, or you can use like a score tape if you have a thin enough border or frame. That's one of the reasons I made my frame a bit bigger, and it has to be fully attached. Little gaps. Really sticky tape. And I think I'm going to use foam strips. They're already pre-cut. They're perfect for this. Tiny bit higher. But you can use foam tape, or you can cut this frame a bunch of times and layer them. That would also work. So the pieces are going to go in here. All right, and this one is going to be pretty, like I'm not going to have anything else in the background, so I can kind of put whatever coordinates, or if it's made for a specific person, I can put their favorite colors. My daughter recently put all our sequins and stuff in one of these. So I'm going to use some sea beads for a bit of noise, and maybe some of these sparkly stars. And let's see, these, I like these. They're like little clay bits with clouds. Those are kind of cute. Or rainbows. I have rainbow ones too. Okay, so maybe let's do some of these. I'm just gonna put down a bunch of stuff. And then if I had trees, or I don't know, some other little critters, I would use them, but I don't think I have that. So let's see, no. And then maybe more of the sea beads. It's a pretty big space, so you might want to use quite a bit. I'm gonna put more of these guys. More of these. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, and then just put these aside for now. And then I am going to add this piece like that. So just take these off. This is the only thing I do not like about these foam strips. These are actually difficult to peel. Okay. Yeesh. And this is one reason this is not my favorite technique to build it in, because I tend to spill and things get stuck this way. You can also use your powder, your nonstick powder that you use for like embossing, around the edges so that the pieces don't stick, but I actually find it's usually okay. I'm going to stick all those guys back in. It's very sticky, as you can tell. Okay, I'm going to carefully line this up. Okay, really push that down on the edges. And then when I turn it over, have a nice big shaker. Okay. to attach the acetate first. Put that piece of acetate. So I was trying to use my StazOn ink to do the acetate on top, but it was too dried out. I need a re-anchor, so that didn't work. Let's get our acetate piece. Okay. All right. So this gets stuck first. I guess you could stick this on the front because this is a foam. But I've never done that before, so I'm just sticking it on the back. Like blues. I've got, if it was winter, could do some of these. There's leaves in the background. That looks good. I'm gonna do some of these clear bits. Kind of remind me of like the eyeballs. And some of these, because they're a bit yellowy, kind of goes with the colors. Okay, so as you can maybe notice, this is, the foam has made it a bit crooked, so I'm going to trim that part off. So the card base is going to be a little bit narrower, but it'll look a bit better that way. Okay, and then this guy is going to go here. Okay, So we have our 2 shaker fun kid birthday shaker cards. This sentiment, if you don't like that it's partially hidden by the shaker bit, you could also put this one on top like we did here. But just thought I'd try something different. Yep, and you can use these cards for other occasions as well. And also, they don't require a lot of really fancy supplies. Even the shaker bits can be found at dollar store. It's part of kits that maybe your kids have or you have from different art activities like beads and glitter, and you can kind of throw in a bunch of different things. So they're pretty easy to make. All right, I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.